Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Sushil Dalal, Associate Professor from Pandit Neki Ram Sharma Government College, Rohtak. Today we will discuss about the sampling methods. Statistics, being the empirical science, is basically concerned with the analysis of real world data, which is collected either from the primary sources or from the secondary sources. When the data is collected from the primary source, a researcher has to make a choice of data collection either through the method of census enumeration or through the method of sample surveys. In census enumeration, all the units of observations which are the part of the study are enumerated. Group of observations in a census is generally large and is known as the universe of the study. Sometime when the universe is large, census enumeration may not be possible due to lack of the resources, time or trained personnel, etc. In such cases, the researcher can use the method of sampling in which only a small representative part of the universe is studied, known as the sample, and with the help of the theory of sampling, interferences are made about the universe. Effective generalization about the universe are possible only when the sample is a good representative of the universe. It is therefore most essential to ensure that when a sample is drawn from the universe, it should be drawn in such a manner that it represents the universe in all aspects. This can be achieved by selecting the suitable methods for drawing a sample. There is no single method of drawing a representative sample from the universe. There are several ways in which a representative sample can be drawn from a universe depending on its structure. Methods of sampling which ensures best representation of the universe fall under two broad categories: probability sampling method and non-probability sampling methods. In probability sampling methods, samples are drawn using the principle of probability. In probability sampling, whether any observation will be selected in a sample will depend on the choice. The method of drawing a sample is designed in such a manner that all the members of the universe are given in a proper chance. A sample selected through the probability sampling, therefore, is supposed to be an unbiased sample. Neither any observation is discriminated nor any observation is given any favor. Probability sampling methods suitable for different situations are given as here: simple random sampling, systematic random sampling, stratified random sampling, cluster sampling, multi-stage sampling. The simple random sampling, this is the simplest method of drawing a sample in which each and every member of the universe has equal chance of being selected in the sample. It is like drawing a lottery ticket. It is most suitable method of drawing a representative sample when observations of the universe are fairly uniform or homogeneous. Method of simple random sampling is very much facilitated by the number of random number table prepared by Tippett, Kendall, Smith, Fisher, Yeats, or by Rand Corporation and so on. These numbers are given in tabular form in books on statistics. Any number on any page is either selected from any row or column or to constitute a random sample of the number. How to select a random sampling? In practical exercise of sampling, first the number of the universe are arranged in a table and is assigned a serial number. Second stage of drawing a simple random sample is to select a set of random numbers. the number of the selected random numbers should be equal to the size of the sample to be selected. The next step is to consider the set of chosen random numbers as serial number of the member of the universe to be selected in the sample. If the total number of the observation in the universe are between 1 and 99, two adjoining columns have to be selected in the random number tables. In case of observations are more than 99 but less than 1000, three adjoining columns of the random number tables have to be selected and so on. For example, if we take a universe and the number of the units from 1 to 700, we have to select three consecutive columns of a random number table. In case of number of the items to be selected are 35, we select a combination of first three values, then next three values and so on until we get 35 combinations of serial numbers between 1 and 700. Nowadays, random number tables have been replaced by the computers and software are used to generate the random numbers directly. Systematic sampling, a simple random sample, is ideal method of ensuring the unbiased selection of the sample observations. However, it requires sufficient preparation which take considerable time, specifically when the universe is large and a large random number is to be selected. In most of the national surveys, the researcher face this problem. Census of India also, after collecting the information of the total population of India on census slips, find it difficult to do tabulation on the basis of the all slips. Often it is decided to do tabulation on the basis of 10% or 20% slips only. Then after the tabulation, the figures are inflated to give the data on 100%. This is a special kind of sampling in which the selection of first unit of sample is selected randomly. The remaining units are selected from the population at a fixed interval of n, where n gives the percentages of the universe to be selected in the sample. For example, if it is decided to select 20% of the sample after initial selection, every fifth observation in the list or in slip is selected, so that in the end 20% of the total slip will be selected in the sample. Even if the total number of sample units are decided, when we can use the systematic sampling after dividing the range of serial number into appropriate size and selecting one unit after the fixed interval. For example, if the size of a universe is 800 and we want to draw a sample size of 40, in such a case the unit of the universe is divided into 40 intervals of size 800 divided by 40, that is equal to 20. The units in the universe have the serial number from 1 to 800, which is divided into 20 intervals of range from 1 to 20, 21 to 40, 41 to 60, 61 to 80 and so on. There will be 20 numbers of such intervals which is equal to the size of the sample to be drawn. First, one number is selected randomly from the serial number 1 to 20. Suppose if it is 7, so the seventh item is selected from the first interval, adding 20 to it will generate the second random number. Thus, the second item to be selected will be 27. The third number will be 47 and so on. The sample serial number is given in table here. One of the advantage of this method is that once the first unit of the sample is selected randomly, all the other sample units will be selected automatically. However, if there is some bias in selecting a serial number, it will persist in all other selections also. Stratified random sampling. However, there is some bias in selecting a serial numbers, it will persist in all the other selections also. Second is stratified random sampling. A random sampling is good only when there are not marked differences in the population. Problem arises when the population is composed of highly varied observations. Suppose in a family planning survey of a district, a sample of 1000 households are to be selected from a total universe of 25,000 households living both in rural and urban areas. 20,000 households live in rural areas, that is 80%, and 5,000 live in the urban areas, that consist of 20% of the total population. In a simple random sample, there is no surety that the selected sample units will also represent this diversity of the universe. However, if we divide the universe into two strata of rural households and urban households, and then selecting 80% households from the rural areas and 20% of them from the urban areas, selected sample will only random but also represent the rural urban diversity in same proportion. A stratified random sampling is therefore a method of sampling used when the universe of the study consists of diverse units of the observations. In order to get the diversity reflected in the sample also, the unit is divided into homogeneous group of observation known as strata, and then from each stratum draw a random sample of appropriate size in proportion to the share of the stratum in the universe. Such a stratified random sample will be random as well as be representing the diversity of the universe also. The proportionate and disproportionate stratified random sampling. In a stratified random sampling, the sample can be drawn either proportional to the size of each strata, and it could be disproportional to its share in the universe. When the sampling units are all homogeneous, a sample of the size proportional to the size of each strata will be drawn. However, when the strata are quite homogeneous, the size of the sample has to be disproportional. When the sampling units are all homogeneous, as sample of the size proportional to the size of each strata will be drawn. However, when the strata are quite heterogeneous, the size of the sample has to be disproportional. The stratum having higher variability will require greater size of represent the strata. On the other hand, the strata having uniform values with low variability can be represented by even a smaller size of sample also. Cluster sampling. One of the problem with simple random sampling and with systematic and stratified random sampling is that all the items of the universe have to be listed with a serial number, and the selected sample numbers are to be located on the universe for data collection. This involves quite a good running around, especially when the universe covers the sufficient geographic space. In some situation, when the observation of a study are composed of similar groups scattered over the space, it is sufficient to study one or two instead of all of them. These similar groups of observation are known as clusters, and it is assumed that observations between each cluster are similar, and within each cluster these are heterogeneous. Each cluster within itself is like a universe. In a cluster sampling, therefore, few clusters are selected and studied in totality. All the shades of the universe are represented in each cluster. So, a cluster is best representative of the universe. Cities are supposed to have clusters of slums. Each slum has considerable variations of quality of life within itself. These variations will get repeated when we move from one slum to another. It is therefore suggested not to go from one slum to another slum and increase the physical burden of the sample survey. On the contrary, it is advised to select one cluster, that is one slum, on the sample basis and study it in full. Cluster sampling saves the time and resources. At the same time, is an effective as any other random or stratified random sampling could be. Next is multi-stage sampling. In a large-scale survey covering a country, a sampling frame will be large, and selecting a small sample of few hundred or thousand villages out of 6 or 7 lakh total villages of India will be difficult as large sampling frame will be required more time and cost. Multi-stage sampling technique can help in designing a procedure of sampling which will start with a big sampling frame and will keep on becoming smaller and smaller as we move from one stage of sample selection to another stage. Multi-stage sampling will make a study more practicable in terms of cost and time, as well as ensure the unbiased selection of the sample units through the properties of the theory of probability. It involves more than one stage of sampling the population, which will depending on the problem. Consider a problem of selecting a sample of 1000 villages from 6 lakh villages of India. A stratified random sample will not be sufficient to represent all variations of villages life of India. We have to have many layers of stratification. Multi-stage sampling suggests to divide the country into similar regions and select a random sample of 1 or 2 states from each region. After that, each selected state is further subdivided into the district, and a set of representative district is selected randomly at the second stage. In the third stage, from the selected districts, the villages are selected randomly. There also we can go to fourth stage of selecting the sample households from each selected villages and so on. Next is non-probability sampling. Sometime due to study of the specific nature, the choice of selecting a sample, a random sample, may not give the required results. Researcher may not have any idea about the location of the sample units, which are not easily traceable also. The researcher has to depend on their availability. There is no sampling framework possible in each cases. In such cases, the researcher has to consider non-probability method of sampling. Their first concern is convenience of the availability of the sample units, which is known as convenience sampling. Sometime only few specific groups of respondents have to be studied, as only they serve the purpose of the study. For example, among the households of an area, only large size households are required to study the factors behind their choices of the size of the family and so on. Such a situation to serve a particular purpose may force the researcher to go for purposive sampling only. In some of the cases of a stratified random sampling kind of situation, the researcher may be interested to give numerical representation to each group by fixing some quota to each group, but may not be particular about their unbiased representation of their groups. Only their inclusion may be sufficient in form of some quota of each group may be enough. This kind of sampling is known as quota sampling. There is yet another kind of non-probability sampling known as snowball sampling. Here one has very limited information about the availability of respondents of the sample. When somehow one or two respondents are located, with the help of them researcher may come across few more respondents. Now he has a bigger group which can also provide some more references to increase the list of respondents further. Such method of sampling is known as snowball sampling. All such known probability sampling method are listed here. First, convenience sampling, second, judgment sampling or purposive, third, quota sampling, and snowball sampling. Sampling error and determining the size of sample. Before a sampling exercise is undertaken, the size of the sample is a big question before a researcher. If sample size is too small, it will not achieve the purpose, and if it is too large, it will require huge cost and time that will amount to waste of resources. Therefore, as general rule, it should neither be very large nor be very small. The following factor will be considered while deciding about the size of the sample. The first is the nature of the universe. Homogeneous universe will require smaller size of the sample than the heterogeneous universe. The second is number of the classes proposed. In a situation where large number of classes or subgroups are formed, a large sample will be required, because a small sample will not give good number of cases in each classes. In-depth and continuous study groups. Such sample will require detailed technical observations over time, which is possible only in cases of the small samples. Quality of sampling. A small sample properly selected is better than a large sample poorly collected. Requirement of accuracy and accepted level of confidence. A more accurate and precise estimate will require a higher size of sample. The availability of finances. The cost of the sample survey will increase the size of the sample. The other considerations are nature of units, the size of the universe, the size of questionnaire, availability of trained investigators, the conditions under which a sample is conducted, time availability, and so on are few other considerations which will determine the size of the sample. Sampling error and size of the sample, that is confidence level approach. The sample size can also be determined on the basis of the theory of sampling as given here. If a large number of sample of the size n are drawn from a universe with mean m and standard deviation as s, the different values of the sample means will form another distribution known as sampling distribution of means. The distribution will be normal with mean equal to the universe mean m and standard deviation as s divided by root n. Thus, if we get a sample mean as from the above universe, the interval within which the population mean will lie can be estimated. Such an interval is known as confidence interval with a probability. The 99% confidence interval in the above case will be x bar minus 2.56 s divided by root n to x bar plus 2.56 s divided by root n. The range in this case will be is equal to 5.12 s divided by root n. Similarly, 95% confidence limits will be x bar minus 1.96 s divided by root n to x bar plus 1.96 s divided by root n. The range in this case will be 3.92 standard error divided by root n. The sample size can be worked out with using above confidence intervals also. If the range is fixed for 99% confidence level as R, the size of the sample will be root n is equal to 5.12 standard error divided by R, or in other form n is equal to 5.12 standard error divided by R whole square. Similarly, for 95% of confidence level, we can get n is equal to 3.92 standard error divided by whole R square. We can use the above equation to determine the size of the sample provided the value of R and level of confidence is determined by the researcher. The researcher has the liberty to decide about them, but still he has to know the value of standard error. The standard deviation of the size of the land holdings, this is a very tricky question for the researcher. If he or she can know standard deviation, they can know the value of means also. The answer is that for the value of the required standard deviation, any rough estimate of it can also be used. We can cite the example here. For a sample survey of estimating the average size of land holding of the farmer of a region, what should be the size of the sample so that the lower limit and the upper limit of the estimate does not differ by 3.0 acres, which is given the rough estimate of the standard deviation of the size of the land holding, that is equal to 10 acres. For 99% confidence level, the estimated size of the land holding, the size of the sample will be n is equal to 5.12 standard error divided by R square, that is equal to 5.12 multiplied by 10 divided by 3 square whole square, which is equal to 51.2 divided by 3 whole square, 17.1 multiplied by 17.1, which comes is equal to 292 after rounding. For 95% confidence level, the estimated size of the land holding, the size of sample will be as n is equal to 3.92 standard deviation divided by R square, that comes equal to 3.92 multiplied by 10 and divided by 3 square, that is 39.2 divided by 3 whole square, that is equal to 13.07 multiplied by 13.07, that comes equal to 170 after rounding. Thank you very much.